Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about the BPS Savage. But first I want to address where I've been for the past almost 6 months now. Unfortunately my mother, she passed away. Uh, yeah, should, but maybe a couple days after my last video. And I also have had a child that since then he's 2 months old now, so things have been going a little crazy in my house. Lots of changes, lots of things that I had to address, and because this is more of a hobby for me, this got pushed to the side. But in that time, I've been buying lots of knives, so I have a nice bank of knives to review, and I'll show you those later in the video to sort of give you an idea of what 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 I'll be doing on my channel in the next little bit. Uh, but for now, let's get some specs out of the way of this thing. This is the BPS Savage. Again, BPS is a Ukrainian knife company. They specialize in budget knives, but they are handmade. Uh, Oh, this one specifically is 1066 high carbon. They all use 1066 for their budget line. They do have a stainless line as well as some higher end knives in D2, but those ones are usually a little more expensive, and I prefer to order the cheaper ones because I find they're built just as well as the more expensive ones. But yeah. So first of all, let's get some length on this. It is from tip to tail 9.5 inches or just over 24 centimeters. We have a 4 3/4 inch blade from choil to tip, or 12, about 12 centimeters. This knife specifically, I was waiting to get for a while. I was excited because this is my first example of a BPS full flat grind. They do have lots of knives, but the majority of them are Scandi grinds. They do have a kitchen line, but the kitchen line is stainless, and I'm not crazy about their choice of stainless steel. It's a 5CR, which, I find 5CR gets a bad rap. It's definitely a little softer, but some people like a softer steel for a myriad of reasons. Uh, Ease of sharpening is one of them, and yeah, I don't know why everybody hates it. If I have a choice, I will definitely get a high carbon versus a 5CR steel, just because I prefer the patina that goes on them, and as well as the overall strength and ease of sharpening. I prefer the way it interacts with my sharpening stones better. So as you can see, this one has starting to develop patina. I use this in the kitchen a lot. Uh, I don't mind that. I actually find it beautiful, the purples and the blues that come out, especially if you cut like very acidic stuff like onions. It can make a really nice patina. I'm not one to force patina on a knife. I like to let it happen as you use it. Uh, it tells a story, like especially with certain. I find certain foods patina different colors, so you can almost tell what people have been cutting if you look at their knife patina. Uh, all right, let's just give me a second. I want to pull out my calipers because the strength of this knife is in its thinness. So let's just see if I can show you on camera just how thin it gets at the tip. It is a little slicer. Uh, Kind of reminds me. I've never owned a Spyderco. It would it reminds me of what a Spyderco would probably be, or my Open L. Very, very uh, uniform taper down to the front. Like it's consistent all the way down, and it comes out to a very, very pointy, fine tip that uh, can be very beneficial to cutting food or skinning an animal. All right, let me show you the other one. So this is the main thing that wasn't crazy about these blades is I'm guessing BPS is not very familiar with full flat grinds, so they're because they're handmade. Different people making the same knife, it might come out looking a lot different. As you can see, this one has a more continuous curve to the belly, almost like a leaf shape, and then this one has a lot more straight of a belly at the bottom. And I'm guessing that all comes down to the person shaping the final blank. Probably the way they make these is they'll CNC machine out the rough blank, then heat treat it, and then do the final shaping on belts by hand. So of course, different people sharpen different ways depending on how they're used to it, and you will get slightly different shapes. The one unfortunate thing about one of these blades was it came with a bend down the back. It's going to be very hard to show up on camera, but this one actually near the tip bends this way, and I don't think that was done like it got bent during shipping or anything, because this 1066 is very tough stuff. Like, I've tried to bend this back to straight, to true, and no matter how much I bend this, like I'll put it in my vise with a towel and then try and bend this to try and get that bend out, and it'll just always pop back right to the original shape it was. At one point, I thought I'd straightened it, and then I took a break and looked back at it, and it was right back to where it was. So I'm guessing this was more as they're shaping it, they're pushing down on the belt, and because this is such thin geometry, you can see that I can flex this blade. So if you're trying to hammer out a lot of blades and you're trying to get it done quick, you're pushing down on that belt hard, and you're bending the blade as you're shaping the bevels, and I think that's what happened here. It's not terrible. It's still a very usable knife, but it's not perfect, and it disappointed me a little bit. The pro of that is BPS is such a good company. They're definitely dedicated to customer satisfaction, because as soon as I contacted them, they just refunded me this blade without even having me to send a picture or anything. They just sent me the money back, so I got two blades for the price of one. I'm going to give this one probably to my brother for his birthday, or bring it out to camp and just accidentally leave it at his camp. Tell him he could use it. As you can see, these look a little different at the choil. I wanted to try to make this one a little more functional as a kitchen knife, so I wanted, by getting this out of the way, I can have the blade be able to go right down to the bottom, to the choil. Like it can chop all the way down there. As you can see, now that I've got rid of that, I have a full flat bottom to it. So I don't really need a locking and choil like that, even though it still has quite a lot of that functionality because of the way it goes inside there. But yeah, I just thought that's the lovely thing about these BPS blades. They're so cheap. I end up not having any problems modifying them. As soon as I start getting into knives that are over $100, I feel like I feel like I shouldn't be doing stuff like that. But the Moras, the BPSs, all those lower end knives, I have no problem putting jimping or changing the handle scales, doing little things like that to make them my own. All right, so back to the the calipers here since I got distracted. So right at the right behind the edge, look what we're dealing with. Let's get a little lower there. 0.6 there. Say, let's go. See, we're zeroed out. Yeah. Jesus, so hard to do all on camera. Sorry, guys. When I was playing around with it before, I was getting 0.5 right behind the edge. So 0.6, 0.6, and right at the tip, I think it'll go 0.5, 0.49, yeah. So it is a thin one. Certainly lends itself to cutting food very well. The weight on it, excuse me. Hopefully this has batteries. Yes, it does. It's not the smallest knife, so it's going to have some weight to it. 143 grams. Let's just see how the difference. 144. So yeah, even with that gone, they're still pretty close in weight. Cool. The handle is made from bog oak apparently, which is from what I hear, oak that has been sitting in a bog. Pretty self-explanatory. It is very old oak, so I'm guessing something to do with the microorganisms or the environment in the water. It allows the wood to age and almost become antibacterial through years of I just through the aging and being in that perfect environment. It doesn't rot, so they go and find these logs in I guess marshes, pull them out, clean them up, and then the wood has this nice dark color to it. I really like it. I have yet to have water ingress in it, and I do rinse this knife off a lot, so I'm willing to bet that the the statements are true. Sorry about my stumbling. About the natural effects of having that sit in the swamp for years. From what I've heard, this should last way longer than regular wood. It's a very interesting choice of material, especially for a budget knife, because from what I read on the internet, it's usually on more expensive knives because it's not the most common material. But maybe they just got a bunch of it at a good price. I don't know. I'm glad they chose it because it definitely gives this knife a different look than all the other BPS knives that have the standard. I can't remember offhand what the wood is for BPS handles, but they use a pretty standard wood, and it's the same among their whole line. So this is one of the few knives in their line that has a different color handle. Yeah. As far as my opinion of this knife, it's great. Fits in the sheath wonderfully. Lots of retention. It's in the standard BPS taco style sheath. They tend to give these away with almost all of their knives. Little differences between the two sheaths, as you can see. This one has leather that is 3.3 millimeters, and then this one is 2.3. So this is very common among BPS items, from SKU to SKU and from day to day, depending on, I guess, who their leather suppliers are. They will get different qualities of leather, because this one is way cheaper feeling than this one. I have no doubt that this one's gonna fall apart a lot quicker. I can just feel the cheapness. So that's just a side effect of being a budget company using natural materials like that. You can't. Not every cow has the skin thickness, the same skin thickness over the whole cow. Like if you're buying loads of cheaper leather. I'm assuming they don't want to waste any, so they're just going to use all of it. And not everybody's going to get a perfect sheath. That is a-okay, because every once in a while you get a sheath that's even more than perfect, or a blade that is way better than the others. So it works itself out in the long run. Nice little lanyard hole if you want to attach it. Your hand really locks into it. I wasn't crazy about this kind of downward sweep shape when I first got it, but the more I played around with it, the more I just held it in my hand, I realized just how good of a design it was. I usually like my handles to be, I'd rather it be an upswept handle. So, because I use my knives for a lot of food prep, so I find it's more ergonomic to have your handle a little higher up, so your blade wants to meet with the chopping board a little easier without having stuff like this knock into it. But it doesn't bother me nearly as much as I thought it would when I first got the blade. Again, to compare these two, as you can see, the handmadeness of this allows for some variations. So let's pull out the calipers again. Zero that out. So the very back of this spine, 2.8 millimeters. The very back of this spine, 3.06. So you're getting quite a decent variation depending on who made the knife. I definitely don't mind it, because I actually like the slightly thinner one better. I find it a little better of a slicer, but I haven't had too much time on this one. I'm trying to keep this one in better condition because I think I'm going to give it away to somebody. I have too many knives right now. As far as final remarks on this this Savage, I would highly recommend it. Sorry if I sound a little flustered, a little back and forth right now. I've got to get back into the groove of talking to nobody. It's definitely a unique thing doing these kinds of reviews where it's just off the cuff, and I try to treat it like I'm having a conversation, but I'm having a conversation with nobody. It doesn't always add up to the most easy to follow reviews, but I'll get better as time goes on. Okay, so BPS Savage, 10cc6 high carbon, bog oak handle. Awesome. Give it a try if you can. They can be found on eBay, Amazon. You can order directly from the BPS website. I don't know how long they're going to last. It took me a while to get these. Originally, they had them on Amazon for $140. I don't know what they were thinking, because on the BPS website it was $50 or something. So something tells me that was like a third-party seller just trying to cash in on the lack of them being on Amazon. But they're down to $49.99 on Amazon Canada, at least for me. So yeah, pick them up there. I recommend getting it off Amazon if you can. eBay, it can, because they ship them from Ukraine. When you buy them off eBay, they can take a long time to get. It took about a month and a half for me to get these. And if you order them from the BPS website directly, I heard it could be even longer, even though that's probably the best way for the company, giving their money directly to that company. I really hope everything goes good with these issues with Ukraine, because I don't want to be able to not get these knives because of the world going absolutely crazy lately. Don't get me started on that. I'm up in Canada, so we're having some serious issues with our government, and they are pretty much insulting, and like 50 to 60% of the population is considered not. They don't have valid views, which is absolutely insane. And those numbers are growing by the day, but I'll try to keep politicals out of my videos. Let's move on to what I'm going to be doing over the next little bit. So put these bad boys away, because I have some nice knives to show you guys. 20 minutes into the video. Try and keep this quick so this is not a crazy long video. Just grab these off the floor. First of all, bring this back. This is a knife I made out of an old Henkel. So this had probably some of the worst edge geometry. Somebody, I guess, sharpening on a bench grinder or something. It was awful. This is one of those kitchen style knives. It was probably about this long, went down about that far, like the ordinary Henkel, but this was an older. There's Willings and Henkel, the nice ones. So I basically just drew out the shape I wanted, took it to my bench grinder, and ever so slowly took metal off, dipping in water every, I don't know, 30 seconds to keep it cool so I'm not ruining the temper. Got the shape I liked, and then took my belt sander and thinned out the profile a bit because of how far I drew back the edge. If I wouldn't have thinned it out, it would have had some. It was very thick, very very thick behind the edge. And I'm also putting a. I'm not done yet, but I'm putting a full convex on here. I'm very excited to see where this goes. I bunged up the handle quite a bit, but I'm impressed with just how thick and nice this steel is on these. Probably this is a 90s Willings and Henkel. It was definitely an older version. I have quite a few of the newer Willings and Henkel knives, and the metal was thicker, felt different. The logo was on the other side, so it leads me to believe it was an older one, especially considering how butchered the grind was on it. Somebody had it, and they were trying to sharpen it, trying to maintain it. I give them props for that, but they did an awful job. If you go back to my other videos, you'll see the shape it was in. But yeah, this is what I've made out of it so far. Not quite done, but it's awesome. Picked it up for $2 at my my local thrift store, and probably 2 hours worth of work. It's gonna be a good knife. All right, getting over to the stuff I bought. This isn't all of it, but these are a few things that I'm gonna be reviewing. So first, a Civivi Lumi. This is the first pocket knife I've ever purchased off the internet. I am not one to buy flippers or folding knives. I have 2 of them. They're bucks, and I got them at Canadian Tire for 90% off. I just bought them because I'm a knife guy, and I have trouble when I see a product that is regular $60 for $10. I just can't say no. But those are just they're just bought them for the sake of having. I do not carry them. I'm not usually one to carry a folding blade unless it's a Leatherman or a Swiss Army knife, something that's going to have multiple uses. But something about this little knife spoke to me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the blade shape. It really reminds me of like a Sloyd knife or a little carving knife. It is ridiculously thin, like even thinner than I thought. Oh, let's zero this out. Even thinner than I expected it to be. And when I saw the pictures, I knew like it's point 0.4 at the spine of the tip, let alone like the edge. It's like a little scalpel. Like if I was stuck in the bush and I needed an emergency tracheotomy, or needed to give somebody that, this is what I'd be using. I have I love it. I'm not exactly crazy about the way it opens. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I can save that for the review. But the Civivi Lumi, it'll be my first folding knife review. That's not a multi-tool. Move that to the side. I've been wanting one of these for a while. I tried to hold out for one in CPM 3V, but they don't make them anymore. If they do, they don't sell them to Canadians. I don't know. But this is the Cold Steel Mini Pendleton Hunter, and this is their new variation in Oz 10A. They have VG1 variations as well as the 3V. The 3V is blacked out, I guess because it's not the most stainless steel, but This is another one I'm going to be looking at. This is a beauty. I've been really getting into small knives lately. I love the functionality of a small fixed blade knife, and that's probably why I don't like to carry smaller folding knives, because smaller fixed knives just feel so much better in my hand. And again, I use a lot of, my knives for food prep a lot. I would hate to get gummed up stuff because this has a bearing in there. But yeah, Pendleton Mini, the Martini Snappy. This is a beaut. This is one of the ones that are still made in Finland. I know Martini has a lot of different ways they produce knives now, but this one is the Finland made in Finland one. They have a lot of made in China knives now. That is a carbon steel, like 2.5-inch blade, and I was going to get the Eldris, and then I saw this pop up on Amazon, and it's pretty much like an Eldris, but with an appropriate size handle and more traditional materials, which I will always go for a more traditional material. This is the Kaiser oh, not Kaiser, sorry. Is it Kaiser? QSP. Oh my goodness. Sorry. The next one's a Kaiser. This is a QSP Neckmuk D2 steel. I guess it's aimed to be a neck knife because they don't give you any belt loop, and neck is in the name. But I am really enjoying this one. My wife likes to call it the fancy cheese knife, and I'll agree with her. It kind of looks like a cheese knife, but it is so much more. I am loving this. This is my first G2 knife. Another reason why I've been buying a lot more knives lately. I'm trying to expand my steel knowledge. Oh, back to this. This is Sandvik 14C28N. Sorry. That's why I got this, because I don't have a pocket knife, and I don't have any knives that are Sandvik 14C. I have some 12C 2027. All right, and last but not least, this one's still in the box. This is the Kaiser Baby, and this is a fun knife. So this is another one I will be doing a full review on. This is the black, obviously the blacked out version. They had one in with a jade handle. Apparently, it can't be real jade. It's some sort of plastic meant to look like jade. I doubt there'll actually be stone handles. And then the jade handle also has just the steel color instead of a blacked out blade. But unfortunately, they were sold out. I would have liked the jade one instead, but I waited too long, so I had to get the black one. But it looks pretty good. Comes with a nice sheath as well too. I do believe it's real Kydex, this sheath. That's underneath here. Yeah, Kydex sheath with one of those crazy clips, and this one can go back and forth. I'll get more into that in the review. But yeah, this is in 154 cm. Yes, 154 cm. And I wanted to get this specifically because I have a Manly Patriot in CPM 154, and I wanted to feel the difference between CPM 154 and 154 cm because they are both identical steels, but one is the powdered metallurgy version of it, and I just want to feel for myself the difference between two identical steels, one being made with the powdered metallurgy and one being more traditional metallurgy. So this is probably the next review I'll be posting for this one specifically, because yeah, I want to I really like this one. It fits in the hand so well. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate whoever, I can't remember exactly who, somebody commented saying come back, and you haven't posted a video in 5 months, and yeah, I haven't, and I needed that kick in the butt. Oh shit, I got a knife in the wrong place. I needed that kick in the butt to get back into the swing of things, so I appreciate it, buddy. You know who you are. You'll probably be one of the first people to watch these videos. I never expected for people to actually watch my videos. I more do this as a way to just feel like I'm doing something. Like I spend a lot of time being a stay-at-home dad, and I don't write music like I used to. So I need to have something in my life, create something, and even if it's just me talking to nobody in my basement, it makes me feel like I've accomplished something. And if you guys value my opinion, that's great too. And if not, that's great too. Counteract my opinion. Let's have a chat. I definitely am not. I'm not a knife master. I'm still learning this as I go, but it's fun for me. That's it. So yeah, have yourself a great day, guys. And thanks for watching.